Herzlich willkommen aus der hessischen
I welcome you from the Hessian representation to the EU in Brussels. My name is Matthias Kolb. I'm a correspondent of the Süddeutsche Zeitung, and we are going to debate on the conference on the future of Europe. I have the opportunity to talk to an important woman about this topic with Dubravka Šuica, the Vice President of the European Commission for Democracy and Demography. She is a Vice President in charge of the conference in the Commission and the co-chair of the Executive Committee on the conference. But we're going to start with a speech from Lucia Puttrich, the Minister for Federal and European Affairs of the state of Hessen. Dear Vice President Dubravka Šuica, dear Mr. Kolb, ladies and gentlemen, a bit more than a month ago, the Presidents of the European Parliament, the Council and the President of the Commission started off the conference on the future of Europe. A declaration was signed which started off the conference. I am pleased that the citizens of Europe are going to participate in the conference and are going to participate actively in the conference. There were a lot of reflections about the issues, about the areas, and about the way to have citizens participate into the conference. I hope that citizens feel appealed up and that they're going to participate, that we are going to find the right format, that all this is not going to remain theoretic, but that it is going to be very lively and that there will be a broad movement of citizens within Europe. But I regret that parliaments are not being involved more. If we have to envisage changes of the treaties, we need the parliaments. I do think that it is necessary that members of parliament are being involved and therefore also members of the Bundesrat. I do consider this as a weakness of the structure, as citizens and members of parliament should shape the future of Europe together. I'm looking forward to this discussion. I'm looking forward to what Mrs. Šuica is going to tell us. Let us hope for a broad success, and those who have to take the decisions should be involved. A discussion about the expectations only makes sense if a lot of people participate, and therefore you also have the opportunity to come back to us with questions or suggestions. There are two ways to do that. You can write an email or call us. The email address is streamline@lv-brussel.hessen.de. And you can call us under 0032 472. And I'm looking forward to your questions.
I'm really honored and happy that I can have a discussion with Dubravka Šuica, the Vice President of the European Commission. And we will kick off this event here with an initial speech by Madam Vice President about the Conference of the Future of Europe, and then later we'll have a discussion. And now, Madam Vice President, we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Dankeschön. Ich möchte mich herzlich bedanken für diese.
Thank you very much indeed for this invitation.
Gentlemen, I'm really happy to announce that work on the Conference on the Future of Europe has taken off, following the signing of the joint declaration by 3 presidents on the 10th of March. Time is of the essence if we want to deliver for citizens. Citizens must be at the center of our thinking on the conference. Secondly, we are in a new phase of politics at the European level. Through the conference, the three European institutions of the European Parliament, the Council, the European Commission speak with one voice. But we cannot act alone. Crucially, we are joined by national parliament, as you highlighted, Madam Minister, regional and local authorities, as well as civil society and social partners. This truly ambitious conference reinforces our representative democracy by responding to the demands of citizens, by bringing the citizens into the heart of policymaking in the European Union. I do appreciate that the German-speaking regional parliaments have also been very active in their support on the conference. Letters from Thüringer Parliament, the Bavarian Parliament, and the Saxony-Anhalt Parliament to President von der Leyen all welcomed the conference and emphasized joint ownership. I also had an exchange with the German-speaking regional parliaments at their Europa Conference on the 1st of February. Their declaration highlighted how the future development of the European Union can only be successful if it meets and reflects the will of the citizens. We held our first and constitutive meeting on the 24th of March, each institution on an equal footing with the other. This is a new kind of politics, and we should not underestimate the positive impact this can have for citizens. So this was the first executive board. The second executive board meeting on the 7th of April endorsed the multilingual digital platform, the conference charter, and the working methods for the executive board. We also discussed the rules of procedure of the conference and the kick-off event foreseen for the 9th of May as part of our outreach and communication activities. I will now address each of these points in a little bit more detail. First, the multilingual digital platform. We agreed to launch the platform next Monday on the 9th of April in the presence of the three co-chairs. The platform is the conference central hub, a place where contributions to the conference are brought together and shared in a transparent manner. This makes it a key part of the feedback mechanism. I count on the collaboration of all people present here today to promote the launch of the platform. All official languages of the European Union are available on the platform. We insist on launching the platform as soon as possible because this tool allows citizens from all corners of the European Union to start organizing events, to contribute with their opinions and ideas, and to engage with other topics of interest to them. So these events will feed into the randomly selected citizen panels and the conference plenaries. The platform allows citizens' engagement to start now without further delay. When the conference draws its conclusions in the spring of 2022, the work does not stop. The three institutions will reflect on what the citizens have deliberated and on how we can best follow up on it. So we need another part of our mandate to follow up on it. President von der Leyen has committed to this, and I intend to see it through. We have provided a non-exhaustive list of 10 topics to get the deliberations started on the platform. The 10th topic is other ideas. So citizens can raise any topics they wish. I emphasize the importance of reaching those who do not usually engage with us and who are skeptical of the European Union. The Executive Board has also agreed upon an accompanying slogan: "The future is in your hands. Make your voice heard." It directly calls upon citizens to engage. The charter of the conference, which we also endorsed, guides citizens' engagement. The charter reflects our European values and fundamental rights, such as human dignity, the rule of law, and respect for human rights. Hate speech and false or misleading information will not be tolerated. A team of moderators will ensure that the dignity of each participant is fully respected. Any input that does not abide by the principles of the Charter will be removed from the platform. The Executive Board also adopted its internal working methods, a lean governance structure based on the joint declaration. National parliaments have participated in both Executive Board meeting, and their continued participation was reiterated at the most recent meeting. In addition, we asked national parliaments to provide contributions in writing, which we take into account. National parliaments will also participate in the plenaries and on an equal footing with representatives from the European Parliament, from the Council, and the European Commission. As you know, I engage regularly with national parliaments and will address a COSAC plenary on the 1st of June. The Commission has always pushed for a strong involvement of national parliaments, and without your or their participation, without your commitment, without them or without you, the conference cannot succeed. We also held the first exchange of views on the rules of procedure of the conference as a whole, which covers the European citizens panels and conference plenaries. We agreed to discuss a proposal at the next Executive Board meeting on the 22nd of April. Finally, the Executive Board agreed to hold a kick-off event on the 9th of May, Day of Europe, and discuss overall outreach and communication activities. Given the current situation, the kick-off in Strasbourg must be a hybrid event with a strong online component and the participation of citizens from all EU member states. We must remain flexible, as you know. We would all prefer to be physically present, but this can only happen if the health conditions allow. I hope soon. Regarding general communication and outreach activities, we are working on a common strategy in close cooperation with the national and regional parliaments, the European Committee of Regions, and European Economic and Social Committee, as well as social partners and civil society. Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, the conference is a truly historic and complex project. There will be many details to discuss throughout the process, but there is one guiding light in all of this. We must keep citizens firmly placed at the center of our thinking on the conference. We do this for the citizens. The panels are designed for citizens' input. The platform is intended to provide a space for all citizens to engage, and the plenary will be the place where citizens can voice their views alongside their elected representatives on an equal footing. We must have confidence in the ability of citizens to contribute concretely. I want to highlight this once again. The conference does not replace representative democracy. It only reinforces it. Democracy itself is not static, so we must evolve to be fit for the future. The Conference on the Future of Europe is part of our response to this challenge. As mandated by the joint declaration, and I quote, the European Union has to show that it can provide answers to citizens' concerns and ambitions. European policy must provide inclusive answers to our generation-defining tasks. End of quote. Ladies and gentlemen, I pledge to give a voice to the concerns of all citizens, a voice for their dreams, their visions, their innovative ideas for the future of Europe, which is their Europe. And now I look forward to hearing from you and to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice President. And I want to start because initially the Conference for the Future of Europe should have started already 1 year ago on the 9th of May in 2020. And it should have started in the beautiful city of Dubrovnik, which you know very well because you used to be the mayor of the city in Croatia. And of course, due to the pandemic, we have lost 1 year, which of course there's nobody to blame. But I heard recently and very often in the last days and weeks, when the conclusions should be reported already in spring 2022, we have a little bit less than 1 year. Is this enough time to discuss all the problems that citizens might have, all the issues that need to be addressed, or is it just too short?
Thank you for this question. Of course, only the virus is only who can be blamed for this. It was a very good idea to start last year from Dubrovnik during Croatian presidency. Then we wanted German presidency to push, but they haven't managed to do it. And now Portuguese presidency. And I want to thank also today and use this opportunity to thank Portuguese presidency for being so, if I may say, successful and being if I may say, willing to start this conference. If they haven't done this, then everything will be failed. Now, I think if we start correctly and clear with all this executive board and then with the launching of digital platform, and then on 9th of May, symbolically, we have almost 1 year till next spring to, I think we can debate all issues. There are 10 topics, as I already said. 9 are mentioned, and 10th is other ideas. So whatever citizens will be interested in, we can debate. I think that citizens panels, conference plenary, and digital platform are three, if I may say, threads of this conference, and we can have good conclusions. And the most important part is feedback mechanism. So why do we need to stop next year? Because we need a second part of our mandate to act upon it, to transpose the ideas into concrete policies. Otherwise, we will again have debate for debate's sake, and there won't be any conclusions. And this is the reason why we have to stop next year. But it doesn't mean that we cannot continue with citizen panels, but we have to have milestone next year in spring in order to draw conclusions, as I already said.
Thank you. So, of course, the presentation of the conclusion will not be the end, hopefully, for this project. And I think another challenge that I heard often when I talked with people in the European Parliament or civil society is that, of course, there are people here in Brussels or in Berlin and Zagreb, now in Lisbon and the capitals who have heard about the Conference for the Future of Europe, but how can the people in the regions, in the smaller cities, in the villages, how can they know about this? Do you and the other members of the executive board have made specific plans, a strategy, how to reach the people who are not, let's say, wired to the European debate all the time? How can they be reached?
Thank you for this question. Let me try to clarify. You know, the joint declaration was signed by 3 institutions, by 3 presidents: President of the Parliament, Sassoli, President of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, and President of acting presidency, Prime Minister Costa. So 3 institutions are very important here. Without them, we wouldn't be able to have this structure. But of course, as I said, citizens are always at the heart. So these 3 institutions have their services, which are called DG.com. So 3 DG.com from 3 different institutions are working on this communication. But of course, I have to mention once again, the conference is not ownership of the Commission, of the Council, or of the Parliament. It is ownership of all of us: national parliaments, regional parliaments, local authorities, civil society, Committee of the Regions. All of them, all of you, all of us are owners of this conference. So we have to use our networks, especially networks of NGOs and civil society, who will try to disperse and to spread the news about the conference. This is the reason why we will start on 19th of April to try to promote this digital platform, which will be for the moment, and it will be till the end, the hub of the conference. But now digital platform is more important than ever. We envisaged it in 2019, but we never thought that it will be that important as it is now, due to known reasons and pandemic, due to not being possible to meet in person. So all of us will spread the news. We will do it on 19th of April, will this platform, and then 9th of May as Day of Europe. I hope there will be many events all over and across Europe in different parts of member states and on each and every level. And all of us are responsible for spreading the news. So, but of course, we are doing it institutionally, as I said at the beginning, by 3 DG Coms. But of course, there is also, I haven't mentioned, Common Secretariat, which is maybe the most important part of this conference. There are 6 plus 6 plus 6, so 18 officials from 3 institutions who work together. They are called Common Secretariat, and we rely heavily on them and on their work. So I'm looking forward to this and hope that we will be able to spread the news about the conference.
Great. I want to read out a question that was sent by email. It's by Dorothee Ammermann. She represents the EKD, that's the Protestant Church in Germany, and she has a question about the young Europeans. And the question goes as follows. The joint declaration states that young Europeans should play a central role in shaping the future of the European process. What does this mean for the Conference on the Future of Europe? What role should young people and their youth organizations and youth rings play here, and how will young people be informed about the Conference on the Future of Europe?
Of course, whatever we are doing for next generation. If I may remind you on Resilience and Recovery Fund, which is popularly called Next Generation EU. So whatever we are doing now, we are doing for few decades for the future. And the very name of this conference is the Conference of the Future of Europe. So young people are the most important, but we should not neglect older people and all other generations, because I think all of us are very important for European society. So young people will be informed as well as other people, but they will be put in the heart of this conference, because there will be 4 citizens panels. And these citizens panels will be comprised, if I may say so, of different straight up society, different geographical situation, and different ages, gender. So young people will be somehow, I hope we will a little bit favor them, as joint declaration says, and we'll try to put an accent on them and on their problems, on their ideas, their concerns, and their visions in the end, because I am sure they have visions, and they can look at the future in which they are going to live. So, but they will be informed as well as other citizens, and I don't see the problem, because they are, all of them are digitally, they have digital literacy, and they are digitally educated, and better than elderly and better than older people. So we rely on young people as participants of this conference on different levels.
Thank you. I have a question to you that comes from the position that the European People's Party group in the European Parliament has presented. You know this group very well, because you've been still a member of the European People's Party in the EP. You were vice chair before you joined the von der Leyen Commission. And they have said that they have 3 priorities for the Conference of Europe. One is to strengthen Europe in the foreign affairs. They want to build a health union. Obviously, the pandemic has strengthened these demands, and they want to build a real democratic Europe. And I don't want to make it too easy for you by asking you, if you had to pick one of the 3 priorities, which would be the most important for you, and where do you think progress would be the most urgent for the EU? Foreign affairs, health union, or more democratic Europe? You know what? If you ask anyone today, this morning in European Union, being commissioner, vice president, MEP, or an average citizen, everyone would answer health. And health will be on the top of our agenda. But talking to me, the title of my portfolio is Democracy and Demography. Then I would say Democratic Europe is also very important, because we have, as you know, one of the pillars of this new commission is new push for European democracy, and we are working on it. We know that democracy has to be improved. Democracy is not static, as I said. So we have to work on it. We have to improve it, improve
we have to come closer to citizens, we have to talk to them, we have to listen to them, and we have to, of course, also use new tools like digital tools. You have to take this also into consideration. All of us are aware of fake news, of disinformation, of everything which is threatening our democracy. So democracy for Europe is very important, and we want to be, of course, leader in the world in democracy. So health and democracy, if I may answer like this.
Thank you. And I'm also very curious.
But of course, if I may add, I want to say anything against strengthening Europe in foreign affairs, because multilateralism is very important, and we want Europe, of course, this is very important topic. So a stronger Europe in the world, this is something on which we are working in Commission, and this is of course, self-understandable, if I may say so. Although, looking at demographic figures, you see that we are decreasing in population on the scales, and if I may remind you of one fact, which is not positive for Europe, it is that if we go on like this with birth rates, then in 2070, Europe will be only 4% of world population, and this is something on which we have to work. So demography is also very, very important part of our deliberations and of our work here in Commission and all over European member states too, because this is really something which we have to take serious into consideration.
Mm-hmm. Madam Vice President, I want to ask you about two other, let's say, concepts that I think were very present when the idea of the Conference for the Future of Europe started in July 2019, right after the European election. And that's, of course, the Spitzenkandidaten principle and the transnational list. You ran successfully for the European Parliament in 2019. I'm sure you campaigned with Manfred Weber, who was the Spitzenkandidat of the EPP back then. Right now, it seems that Spitzenkandidaten and transnational list is no longer a priority. Sometimes I think it has been pushed under the carpet. What do you think? Do you personally, are you still in favor of that principle to strengthen European democracy? And do you see a chance that at the end of the Conference for the Future of Europe there will be an agreement on that, so that the citizens, when they go to vote in the next European election in 2024, that they will know who they're going to vote for and what kind of influence this will have for the next European Commission President?
Thank you. Very good question. One of 10 topics has the title European Democracy, which means that we put a highlight on European democracy, as I already said. Regarding transnational lists and Spitzenkandidat process, I think that it is very important to discuss this, because we are approaching 2024, which is the year for next European elections. We cannot come to 2024 without being without knowing firmly what are the rules for these elections. So I'm sure that one of the strengths of this conference, and one of the maybe this is my presumption, nothing is preempted, but I think that citizens themselves won't be that interested in this, but institutions, especially European Parliament and national parliament, they will be more interested in this topic, and I'm sure that this will be also part of the deliberations, especially, as I said, by MEPs and by national parliamentarians. But since you are talking to Vice President of the Commission, it's not up to Commission, it's not our competence to present, or it's not our competence to talk about. We can talk, but those who will present it to the Parliament are both member states or Council and European Parliament, not us. We are here as honest brokers, so we will facilitate all this dialogue. We will facilitate all this very complex exercise, but it's not up to us to decide on this. But if you ask myself, I will tell you, I will answer positive. Yes, we have to discuss this, and we have to know what are the rules for next elections.
Thank you very much. I was given several more questions from our audience, and there's one by Professor Joachim Würmeling, which I think is a good, it's very fitting at this moment here, because I think, of course, there's always a comparison between the Conference of the Future of Europe, which will be kick-started next month, and then, of course, the Convention for the Future of Europe, which took place in 2002 and 2003 under the presidency of Valéry Giscard d'Estaing. And the question by Professor Würmeling goes, I would like to know what kind of product the new conference is supposed to set up. The Convention on the Future of Europe 2002 and 3 drafted a constitutional treaty. What do you have in mind? A report, recommendations, and which body is supposed to adopt such documents?
There is a big difference between a convention and the Conference on the Future of Europe, because here, first of all, citizens are at the heart. I cannot say at this stage what is the product, because we haven't preempted anything. We don't know what the outcome will be. We will be moderating this, and we will set up the structure and everything, but the result will be set by conference plenary and by citizens panels. So it's not up to us to say, will it be treaty change or will it be something out of this conference. So nothing is preempted, and we want to leave it to citizens, because, as I said at the beginning, it is evident that there is a gap between politicians, some politicians maybe at higher levels, and citizens. And we want to come closer to them. We want to listen to them. It is evident that there is a lot of dissatisfaction and also a lot of populism all over Europe at different levels. And we want to listen to citizens, to ask them to listen what are their problems, what are their fears, what are their concerns, or what are their ideas, what are their proposals, what are their visions. So we want to see what is the reason for example, rise of Euroscepticism in some countries, in some regions, we know. So we want to see, because we want to come to the citizens to whom we never communicated. They were never engaged with us. So maybe this is the way how to engage them in the debate and to see what is the problem and what can we maybe change. So we cannot say at this stage to a respectful professor what will be the product. The product will be the conference conclusions, and then we will. Ursula von der Leyen said, and not only her at the beginning of her mandate, but now in joint declarations, 3 of them said that we will act in agreement and in alignment with the conclusions of citizens. So we will then transpose these ideas into concrete legislation, into concrete proposals, which I cannot say at this stage. Maybe when the conference starts, there will be some milestones. Maybe during the conference, we will be able to maybe track in which direction this conference goes. But at this moment, I'm really not able to answer this question precisely.
Another short question from Hildegard Claire. She asks, how can people be involved who are not so fit in terms of media skills? So maybe she's afraid that you have to go to the new platform. But is that the only possibility, or will there be other chances for people to get involved? And yeah.
No. Platform will be hub, as I said. But as I said, conference is the ownership of all of us, which means that each and every level can organize event, can share idea, can come with idea, but always via this multilingual digital platform. But this platform will be easy to use, very easy to use, and I hope that everyone will be able to use it. But different events will be organized on local level, on regional level. Different civil society organizations can organize events, and citizens will be able to participate there. And then they can offer their ideas, and their ideas will be what is the difference between the previous convention and the conference. I can answer now is the feedback mechanism, because whoever if you, for example, let me illustrate this. If you organize an event, you invite 100 people and everything is fine, there is a title, there is debate, you will be obliged to come back to this platform with a report on and with the conclusions of your event. And then this will be gathered on this platform, and in the end you might be able to see the result through citizens panels or through conference plenary. So this is very complex exercise, but if you participate on a local level, you can see your idea on European level. So this is we want citizens to see that they can draft European policies, and this should be very propulsive, but it is very complex, and this is the reason why it is important to set very clear rules of procedure at the beginning. And if we are clear from the beginning, then it will be easy to use all these tools. Yes, maybe this online situation aggravates, maybe small obstacle for some people, but if they participate in different events, they are not the ones who will be obliged to come to the platform. The organizers of the event will be obliged to come to the platform. So I'm sure that we will manage to do this very successfully.
Or maybe the Europeans who are a little bit older, they could ask their children or their grandchildren, if they exist, if they can help them with the technical difficulties, and then, or they can start their own discussion about what's the future of Europe for them. So maybe that can also kickstart something. And
this is intergenerational. We call it intergenerational solidarity, and this is part of my portfolio too.
Exactly. But Madam Vice President, I wanted to raise another issue that Minister Puttrich mentioned in her short introductory speech, and that's the involvement of the Parliament. And Minister Puttrich, she considered this involvement as a little bit insufficient. I think that was, she called it a little like the weak link, that of course Germany is a federal state, the Bundesländer play a central role in all political processes, and also like in deciding on what becomes law, and they are not included in the process of the conference. Do you share that concern? Can you tell us a little bit why it was not possible to include the regions in a little bit stronger way? Didn't you want to make everything, I don't know, bigger? You talked about a lean structure. Could you explain a little bit to us the background of this?
First, nothing has been decided yet. Second, the basis for all our work, or if I may say, Bible for our work, is joint declaration. What we are doing is transferring the wording, the text of joint declaration into concrete organization, if I may say so. So joint declaration says how should we work. So nothing has been decided yet, and whatever would be or will be decided must be consensual, which means Council, where Germany is, member states, and European Parliament and European Commission should work with consensus in executive board, and this is what we are doing. We have long debate on the rules of procedure, for example, for executive board, and now we are setting up rules of procedure for the Conference of the Future of Europe in whole. And the composition of this conference plenary and on citizens panels will be decided among three of us. So I cannot say more than this, but we want everyone to be included. So if for example, German parliament has they have two houses, Bundesrat and Bundestag, so two. Some parliaments have only one. So we will take all this into consideration and try to have at least both genders. So gender is also important. So there are many different issues which should be taken into consideration. This is very sensitive job, but this is the reason why I said if we start on clear footing, on equal footing, if we start fair, then it will be easier to go on with this conference. At this moment, I know that national parliaments are very important, and I highlighted in my introductory statement that we think that national parliaments are very important, also regional parliaments, but we have committee of the regions. It's the regions. It's not the same regions as the German system. So it's hard to accommodate everyone, because then we will have 1,000 people in a conference plenary, and it won't be able to manage. So we will do our best to make everyone satisfied and to have everyone on board. But if they are not member of the conference plenary, they are member. They can participate on a German level, so their ideas will be heard and will be pipelined towards European citizens panels. So, and to the also plenary. Regarding citizens panels, maybe this wasn't clearly described. They would be. Citizens are important. Of course, national parliaments are important. Parliaments are important. Elected representatives are important. Representative democracy, we think, is very important, but we want to strengthen it. But I want to come back to citizens. We organize this because of citizens. So we want them to have their say. And then we will try to choose them via a platform which is used to work on a random basis. So they will be chosen randomly, but we have to take into consideration, as I said, age, geography, gender, and all other situations. So this is it is complex, but if we start well, I hope everyone will be satisfied. Yeah, Germany is specific, but and the biggest, but you know, and if you look at the Commission, each member state has one commissioner, both Germany and Croatia, although the size is not proportional.
Thank you so much. I think you answered a question that was handed in to me by Maria Emma Martina Goss, who is a trainee with an MEP. She asked about how it will work with the randomly selected citizens, and I think you answered that. Just one thing, she also asked, how will you contact them? And if I understood it correctly, the citizens will be picked randomly by all those who have registered on the platform, right? So if I, as a citizen in Germany or Croatia, want to have a chance to be randomly selected, I would have to register on the multilingual platform.
I'm not sure. This is technical detail for Common Secretariat, and I'm not able at this moment to answer this. I don't think so. I think they will be randomly selected, and then if they agree with the charter and everything, fine. If not, then you go with selection. You go further with selection. But it's a technical job which will be done by one agency, which is contracted by Commission. So I'm not in this. I'm not to answer these technical details.
Okay. Yes. Okay, there's another question that was handed in by Thomas Mann, who is a former member of European Parliament from Hesse, and who's the Vice President of the Europa Union in Germany. And he says that the Europa Union will be very actively involved as a federal citizens initiative, but they consider the limit to 1 year to be completely adequate, and thorough consultation would take more time. Will the EU Commission advocate an extension to the originally planned 2 years? Or is that the follow-up that you talked about before?
Okay, I want to greet my dear former colleague, Thomas Mann. And we will advocate to continue with the citizens panels, because if it proves successful, why not? If they prove to be successful, why not? To go on with this. You remember citizens dialogues, they were also fine, but they never had any conclusions. Citizens panels will be something different, so we can go on with this. But we have, as I said at the beginning, we will conclude next year in spring and come with conclusions and work on them. So this is the difference. We want to work on it, because otherwise it will be again only debate. We don't want only debate, but we want conclusions and we want action. And we need European Parliament to act. We need Commission, and we need also Council. So, and we need part of our mandate to devote to this work. So I'm sure that, but of course, it would have been better if we had 2 years, but virus, bloody virus.
I have one last question that I prepared, because you said that on Tuesday in the European Parliament and also in your introductory speak that I want to quote you, that now we're in this new phase of politics in the EU, and through the conference, the three institutions, Parliament, Council, and the Commission, they speak with one voice. And to be honest, I have a little bit of different impression. I think the European Parliament is very ambitious and excited about the conference on the future of Europe. You called the Commission an honest broker, which I think is an adequate description. But among the member states, I don't sense a lot of enthusiasm. There was a non-paper published recently by 12 member states, which were very, I would say, hesitant. I hear some diplomats who say that there are governments that are openly hostile to the format. And these 12 countries, they warn, to quote, about an unduly interference with established legislative processes, end of quote. And I want to challenge you a little bit on that. Are you really sure that all member states or enough member states are open-minded enough and ambitious enough so that this project of the Conference on the Future of Europe can succeed?
I want to repeat, we are doing this for citizens. Politics is not anymore business as usual. Democracy mustn't be taken for granted. Regarding the letter, 12 member states, the Commission takes good note of this position. But I have to quote what the joint declaration says on this. The scope of the conference should reflect the areas where the European Union has the competence to act, or where European Union action would have been to the benefit of European citizens. Citizens remain free to raise additional issues that matter to them. So member states, so far as I know, are also comprised from citizens. So citizens are those who decide. So the Commission has always emphasized that the conference should be driven by citizens. We are not pushing the outcomes of the conference in any one particular direction, and we should listen to citizens' priorities. This might seem idealistic, but if we are fair, if we are correct, and if we mean what we are saying, then I'm sure that this conference will be a big success story. And this is my answer to your question.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Vice President. My apologies to Raphael Weiland, who sent a very detailed questions, which I cannot read out now due to time constraint, but I think several and the most important questions have already been answered, because there were several questions, of course, about how will it work, how binding can the recommendations be, but I think, Madam Vice President, you answered in a very good way in several answers. So I want to thank you for your participation. And I think we can all look forward as the citizens of Europe to the next weeks and months about the future discussions. We all should try to get involved in our different roles. And to finish, I will switch to German after thanking again Madam Vice President for spending this lunchtime, this almost an hour with us. Nun wollte ich nur noch zum Ende sagen.
And I wanted to add that very soon we will have another interesting meeting on the 27th of April we were talking about artificial intelligence together with Werner Steng. This is really well planned, because in the next week the Commission will give interesting inputs on how to tackle with artificial intelligence. I say goodbye. I hope it was interesting for you, and I wish you a lovely day. Thank you very much. Thank you for the questions and for your interest in the conference. Thank you.